Good afternoon, Professor. My name is David Hernandez. In this moment, I'm going to present my project research. My topic is improving listening comprehension throughout the CLT or communicative language teaching. In this moment, I'm going to explain the objective. My objective in this case is my principal objective is to improve listening comprehension among third-year basic education students at General Artigas School by implementing the communicative language teaching or CLT. And the next part, I'm going to explain my introduction. And my introduction, I want to explain about all of the topic of CLT, try to implement or to improve the listening comprehension in my students. Language acquisition is a fundamental skill that enables communication and interaction in a globalized world. As an educator dedicated to teaching English as a foreign language, I have encountered numerous challenges in helping students develop their listening comprehension skills. This research project aims to address this challenge by implementing the communicative language teaching or CLT to enhance the students' ability to understand spoken English effectively. In the next part, I'm going to explain the context or the research problem and context. In this case, I'm going to explain all of the parts. That, for example, this study takes place at General Artigas School, that where English is taught the third-year students. Many of these students come from low-income backgrounds with limited exposure to English outside the classroom. Listening comprehension has proved to be one of the most difficult skills for them to acquire, as evidenced by the diagnostic test, because they obtain their GOT 3.5 to 10. Students struggle to understand spoken English, recognize key phrases, and follow spoken introductions. Additionally, traditional teaching methods rely heavily on memorized rather than active engagement, with authentic listening materials further hindering their process. Because they reason, because this reason, I choose this project because I want to try the listening comprehension. I think the listening comprehension is crucial uh, for language acquisition, yet it is often neglected in favor of reading and writing. Implementing CLT-based strategies can help bridge this gap of reading and writing implementation. Uh, uh, when you implement the CLT, can help bridge this gap by fostering an interactive and immersive learning environment. CLT promotes authentic language use, active student participation, and real-world communication. By shifting from passive learning to dynamic communicative activities such as role plays, discussions, and text-based learning, students can develop stronger listening skills and great confidence in their ability to understand spoken English. Okay, in the next part, I'm going to explain a brief overview of the research design that I have in this part. This study follows a quasi-experimental mixed method design to measure the effectiveness of CLT in improving listening comprehension. A pre-test, post-test model will be used to compare students' performance before and after the intervention. The research includes both quantitative data, listening comprehension test scores and surveys, and qualitative data, observations, interview, and teacher reflections. The study population consists of 40 third-year students, select throughout a simple random sampling, ensuring an equal representation of learning levels and engagement. In the next part, I'm going to explain the theoretical context. In this part, the communicative language teaching approach is rooted in the idea that language learning should be interactive and contextualized, Richard and Roger, 2014. Unlike traditional methods that focus on grammar drills, CLT emphasizes meaningful communication and the use of authentic language methods. According to Krashen's input hypothesis, 1985, learners acquire language best when they are exposed to comprehensible input slightly above their current level. In this study, authentic listening materials such as a real-life conversation, storytelling, and multimedia content are used to provide a contextualized exposure to English. A part of that, or additionally, Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, 1978, supports the importance of social interaction in language learning. CLT fosters collaboration among students, allowing them to engage in peer discussion and cooperative tasks that enhance their listening skills, take-based learning teaching, or TBLT, a key component of CLT. Provides learning with opportunities to practice language throughout structured, goal-oriented activities. Ellis 203. And the last part, I'm going to explain a little or a brief conclusion that I have after my research project. In this case, this research project aimed to enhance listening comprehension among the third-year students by implementing CLT-based methodologies by transitioning from passive listening exercise to interactive and student-centered learning students. The students are expected to improve their comprehension skills and overall confidence in English communication. The findings from this study will not only contribute to improving language interaction strategies, but also highlight the significance of engaging in the meaningful listening activities in second language acquisition. That's all for my research project. This is a brief presentation. I hope that you understand. Sorry, teacher, for my English. I have not practiced my English. That's for the reason I little have problems with my expressions. Thank you so much, professor. That's all for my presentation.